Okay, in the next 5 minutes, I am going to reveal to you the secrets that your hairstylist has been using on your hair at the salon to make your hairstyle look a whole lot better. I'm gonna teach you 5 specific tips, things that stylists do in the salon behind the chair, but many times just forget to tell you. They are simple little hacks that are gonna help you know how to style your hair better so that you every morning can wake up feeling like you just walked out of a salon. That, my friends, is a terrible commercial. That's what it felt like. Did it feel like that? I felt like I was doing like a Revlon commercial. Is that what? Oh, I apologize, but you get my point. 5 minutes, 5 hair hacks. You're welcome. Should we start? Timer? We got a timer? Okay, timer on the clock. 5. Number 1, the ends matter. Yes, I see people all the time spending times on the midshaft and the roots and not really spending too much time on the ends. Polished ends are many times the difference between your hair looking very smooth and slick and healthy and not. So spend a little bit of extra time on the ends, whether you're round brushing and or flat ironing your hair, and you'll be amazed at how much more polished your overall style looks. Number 2, add volume while you sleep. Many times people wake up the next day, you're kind of frustrated, your hair's a little bit grimy and greasy and it just doesn't have quite the How come the stylist can make it last and I have a hard time doing that? More often than not, stylists use a bunch of product in your hair, or they use at least more product than you use at home, and therefore it soaks up a little bit of that grease or helps to get a little bit more of that root volume. So it's a pretty simple fix. Throw a little bit of dry shampoo on your roots before you go to bed and let that dry shampoo soak up some of your natural oils as well as some of the just day-to-day grime that catches up on your hair. You wake up in the next morning with a little bit more root lift and a little bit easier chance of you getting the style that you want. That's 2 days, 1 style. You're welcome. I feel like that's a twofer. Number 3, you gotta pull your hair smoother. If you're using a round brush or you're even using a flat iron, tension is super important. Not having enough tension makes it a lot harder to actually smooth your hair out. In the salon, we choose specific brushes that give the hair a certain amount of tension. It doesn't pull your hair, but it also doesn't just slide through your hair. That little bit of tension really helps us to smooth your hair out and give you a more polished style. Now this also is true with flat irons. If your hair is just sliding through the flat iron with absolutely no tension whatsoever, almost as though the iron isn't even closed, it's gonna be very hard to get your hair straighter and smoother. Squeezing a little bit harder to get a little bit more tension is gonna go a long way. So simply add a little bit of tension to your morning routine and you're gonna be golden. Number 4, an even pace wins the race. That was a terrible title. When people are styling their hair, they tend to go very slowly from the roots through the midshaft, but then they start to slightly speed up a bit once they get towards those ends. This happens with round brushes as well as it happens with flat irons. Now, this is important not just to smooth the ends out, but to also keep an even amount of polish and smoothness all the way from the midshaft to the ends. You want your entire hair shaft to look equally as nice. And so an easy way to do that is to just move at an even pace as you move through your hair all the way through the end. So you don't speed up or slow down at any point. Now, even more importantly, this will be far more efficient. You'll get a better style and potentially even spend less time with heat on your hair and therefore add a little bit less damage. Now 5, and that is feeling for frizz. You feel your hair too much, you'll find frizz. Now, I'm sure you already know if you comb through your hair when it's curly, you're gonna find a world of frizz. Well, that's the same thing that happens while you're drying your hair. You have to remember that from the point that your hair is wet to the time that it becomes dry, any sort of manipulation, whether it be from air or from your hands touching it, will create frizz. So to minimize the frizz, simply minimize the manipulation. Keep your hands out of it, keep the manipulation down, and you're gonna find less frizz regardless of what product you use. One great way to do this is to use a diffuser, as well as just, like I said before, keep your hands out of it. Now this is true even if you're air drying your hair. You just wanna pay attention to the fact that it's gonna take longer for it to air dry. So if you're out in a windy area or you have the window rolled down in your car, all of this wind manipulation can add frizz. So perfect scenario, sit in the room and don't move while your hair dries and then you'll have less frizz. That's insane, don't do that, but don't manipulate it, you'll find less frizz. Boom, 5 tips in under 5 minutes. You can't tell me you didn't like that. All right, so if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Otherwise, if you have any tips, share them below and make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you can catch up on all the videos every Tuesday. I bring out a new one. I usually have some mildly good stuff. All right, this is gonna be longer than 5 minutes now. I gotta go, so we'll see you guys later. Bye.